In a small village nestled deep within the heart of Africa, there lived a beautiful maiden named Adesuwa. She was known far and wide for her radiant beauty, her kind heart, and her unmatched skill in weaving the hair. Adesuwa was the pride of her village, and many suitors came from distant lands to seek her hand in marriage. But Adesuwa was not easily swayed by riches or flattery. She had a discerning heart and was determined to find a man who would truly love and cherish her. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the village was bathed in the golden hues of twilight, a mysterious stranger arrived in the village. He was tall and handsome, with eyes that sparkled like the stars and a voice that was as smooth as honey. His name was Okoro, and he claimed to be a traveler from a distant land, seeking shelter for the night. The villagers were intrigued by Okoro's charm and his tales of far-off lands. Adesuwa, too, was captivated by the stranger's presence. As they sat around the fire that night, Okoro regaled the villagers with stories of his adventures, and Adesuwa found herself drawn to him in a way she had never experienced before. The next morning, Okoro approached Adesuwa's father and asked for her hand in marriage. He promised to love and care for her, to provide for her, and to take her on adventures beyond her wildest dreams. Adesuwa's father, impressed by Okoro's sincerity and charm, gave his blessing, and Adesuwa, though hesitant, agreed to marry the mysterious stranger. The wedding was a grand affair, with feasting and dancing that lasted for 3 days and 3 nights. Adesuwa was radiant in her bridal attire, and Okoro was the picture of a perfect groom. The villagers celebrated the union, believing that Adesuwa had found her true love. But as the days turned into weeks, Adesuwa began to notice strange things about her new husband. Okoro would often disappear for hours at a time, returning with no explanation of where he had been. He would sometimes speak in riddles, and his eyes would take on a distant, almost haunted look. Adesuwa tried to brush off her concerns, telling herself that Okoro was just adjusting to married life. One night, as Adesuwa lay in bed, she was awakened by a strange noise coming from outside their hut. She crept to the window and peered out into the darkness. To her horror, she saw Okoro standing in the moonlight, his body transforming into that of a fearsome lion. Adesuwa stifled a scream as she watched her husband, now a lion, prowl into the forest. The next morning, Okoro returned as if nothing had happened. Adesuwa, trembling with fear, confronted him about what she had seen. Okoro's eyes narrowed, and for a moment, Adesuwa saw a flicker of something dark and dangerous in his gaze. But then he smiled, his charming smile, and told her that she must have been dreaming. Adesuwa wanted to believe him, but the memory of what she had seen haunted her. She began to notice other strange things. Okoro's strength was unnatural, his senses were heightened, and he had an uncanny ability to move silently, like a predator stalking its prey. One day, while Okoro was away, Adesuwa decided to seek the advice of the village elder, a wise woman named Neka. Neka listened carefully to Adesuwa's story and then nodded solemnly. "My child," Neka said, "your husband is not what he seems. He is a shapeshifter, a man who can take on the form of a lion. Such beings are rare, and they are often driven by dark desires. You must be careful, for he may bring great trouble upon you." Adesuwa's heart sank. She had always known that Okoro was different, but she had never imagined that he was a shapeshifter. She returned home, her mind racing with fear and confusion. That night, as Okoro slept, Adesuwa made a decision. She would confront him and demand the truth. The next morning, Adesuwa waited until Okoro had finished his breakfast before she spoke. "Okoro," she said, her voice trembling, "I know what you are. I saw you transform into a lion. Tell me the truth, or I will leave you and never return." Okoro's eyes darkened, and for a moment, Adesuwa feared that he would attack her. But then he sighed and nodded. "Very well," he said. "I am a shapeshifter. I was cursed by a powerful sorcerer many years ago, and now I am bound to this form. I can take on the shape of a lion, but I am still a man at heart. I never wanted to deceive you, Adesuwa. I love you, and I only wanted to protect you from the truth. Adesuwa's heart ached for Okoro, but she knew that she could not stay with him. The curse was too dangerous, and she feared for her safety. I cannot stay with you, Okoro, she said. I am sorry, but I must leave. Okoro's eyes filled with tears, but he did not try to stop her. I understand, he said. But know this, Adesuwa, I will always love you, and I will do everything in my power to break this curse. If I succeed, I will come back for you. Adesuwa left the village and returned to her parents' home. She was heartbroken, but she knew that she had made the right decision. Meanwhile, Okoro set out on a journey to find the sorcerer who had cursed him and to break the curse once and for all. Okoro traveled far and wide, facing many dangers and challenges along the way. He climbed the highest mountains, crossed the deepest rivers, and ventured into the darkest forests. He encountered wild beasts, treacherous spirits, and even other shapeshifters, but he never gave up hope. Finally, after many months of searching, Okoro found the sorcerer's lair. The sorcerer was an ancient, withered man with eyes that glowed like embers. He laughed when he saw Okoro. So, you have come to break the curse, he said. But do you have the strength to face the trials that await you? Okoro nodded. I will do whatever it takes, he said. The sorcerer led Okoro to a dark cave and told him that he must face his greatest fear. Okoro stepped into the cave, and as he did, he was surrounded by darkness. He felt the curse taking hold of him, transforming him into a lion. But this time, instead of fighting the transformation, Okoro embraced it. He allowed himself to become the lion, to feel its power and its instincts. As he roamed the cave, Okoro encountered a vision of Adesuwa, trapped in a cage. The lion within him wanted to attack, to destroy the cage and free her. But Okoro fought against the lion's instincts, knowing that if he gave in to the beast, he would lose himself forever. With great effort, Okoro managed to calm the lion and return to his human form. He emerged from the cave, exhausted but victorious. The sorcerer nodded in approval. You have faced your fear and overcome it, he said. The curse is broken. Okoro returned to the village, his heart filled with hope. He found Adesuwa sitting by the river, weaving a basket. When she saw him, her eyes filled with tears. Okoro, she whispered. Is it really you? Okoro nodded. The curse is broken, he said. I am free, and I have come back for you. Adesuwa ran into his arms, and they embraced, their love stronger than ever. The villagers celebrated their reunion, and Okoro and Adesuwa lived happily ever after, their love a testament to the power of courage, determination, and true love. Years later, the story of Okoro and Adesuwa became a legend, passed down from generation to generation. It was a tale of love, courage, and the triumph of the human spirit over darkness. And though the villagers never forgot the danger that had once threatened their beloved Adesuwa, they also remembered the lesson of the story, that true love can overcome even the greatest of troubles. And so, the legend of, My Husband, My Trouble, lived on, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a happy ending.